Hello, and welcome to this short demonstration of how you should complete the NLTC Transport Manager case study examination. Your examination center will provide you with a laptop, computer, or tablet to carry out the examination. You will also be provided with a written case study scenario. When the examination begins, you should thoroughly read through the case study scenario. The first series of questions in the examination will be based on this scenario. We are showing an example of the text typically found in a scenario. You can see that, in the third paragraph, details are provided about a journey which the Castells of Telford vehicle will undertake. This question is asking you to demonstrate how the driver can complete the journey so that they arrive at their destination, make the delivery and return to their operating center, in the shortest possible time and taking the required breaks along the way. This is how this kind of question will look during the examination. You should type the start time of each activity into the start time column. The time that activity ended should be typed into the end time column, and the type of activity, for example, driving, loading, unloading or break, should be typed into the activity column. You should then type the duration of each activity in the appropriate column in the duration section. So, as you can see here, the candidate has decided that in order to arrive at the destination at 12 o'clock, as required, the driver will need to begin their shift at 0700. This will begin with a vehicle check, which is recorded in the other work column as 15 minutes. Following this, the driver begins to load their vehicle at 7:15. This takes 1 hour, so is shown as starting at 7:15 and ending at 8:15. As the loading takes 60 minutes, this is shown in the other work column. At 8:15, the driver begins driving to the delivery location. According to the case study scenario, this normally takes 3 hours and 45 minutes. Therefore, 225 minutes is shown in the driving column. The driver arrives on time at 12 o'clock. According to the scenario, unloading will take 1 hour. So, the start time is shown as 12 o'clock, the end time is shown as 1 o'clock, the activity is unloading, and this is recorded as other work for 60 minutes. After 6 hours of working, the driver requires a break according to the working time regulations. At 1 o'clock, the driver had completed 6 hours of work since they began their shift at 7 o'clock. Therefore, we must see that you have included this break in your answer. Remember that if the driver took a full 45 minutes at this point, they may not have sufficient driving time to complete the journey without requiring a second break. You should consider that the question required the journey to be completed in the shortest possible time. Your response to this question should result in arriving on time as requested, maintaining compliance with all regulations, and completing the journey in a shorter time as possible. Some questions may require you to calculate certain elements in order to arrive at a conclusion. With any question, we would require you to provide us with an insight as to how you arrived at your answer. Therefore, you should include your calculations or rationale in the text box. You can see that the question shown on the screen states that 8 marks could be achieved by correctly answering it. You should bear in mind that even if you do not arrive at the correct answer, if the marker can see that this was due to a simple mathematical error, although you will not be awarded all 8 marks, you may still be awarded some marks. To demonstrate, in this case the candidate has correctly calculated the cost of the driver's wage and the fixed costs. The candidate has miscalculated the cost of the tires though. The figure of 20 pence per kilometre should have been 2 pence per kilometre. This will, of course, result in an incorrect final answer. However, as the marker can see that the candidate used the correct method and the only reason for the incorrect conclusion was an incorrectly placed decimal, the candidate may still be awarded some marks for this. However, if the candidate only provided their final answer, without showing their calculations, all 8 marks would have been lost. We require your calculations or rationale to be included in all of your answers, even if these don't include maths. For example, in a question like this one, we want to know that you have an understanding of the rules relevant to driver's hours. You can see that this question is requesting a yes or no answer, effectively giving a candidate a 50-50 chance of guessing the correct answer. As you can imagine, that does not provide us with confidence that the candidate is familiar with those regulations. Therefore, we want to know how the candidate arrived at that answer. Using this example, We can see that the candidate provided the correct answer at the top of the text box and then provided their explanation below it. Without providing that explanation, the 2 available marks would not be applied by the marker, and it is likely that only 1 mark would be awarded for the question. Each case study examination has 60 available marks. In order to pass the examination, you must achieve at least 30 marks. Although losing single marks on some questions may not seem to be very important, you should remember that the lost mark could be the difference between passing and failing the examination.